Yo, what's going on, man? This is the BeBall Jones podcast. I am simply a basketball trainer with a basketball podcast. My goal is to present the game to you from a different angle, educate you with a unique perspective, and also change your mindset along the way. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. I'm BeBall Jones. That's Nelson Hanskin. In case you guys didn't know, I'm like a basketball trainer too. And if you guys didn't know, like Nelson, like is a player. Like he ain't just like somebody who like just steps on the court, but he actually like can play. Just want to let you guys know in case you didn't know. But anyway, today we're just gonna get into a nice little what's up.
Hold on, before you get started, you got a new mic.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
This new mic, man. It sounds good. Hey, boy, you sound like you on the radio or something. Like, I feel like I'm listening to like so I don't even know Tom Joyner anymore. I just aged myself. You got to be our age to know who that is. But you sound good. I just throw that in there.
I appreciate it, man. I told you I had to upgrade the mic, bro. Like it's progressions, man. So appreciate it.
I gotta get like you one of these days, but it's all right though. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, man, it's all good. Yeah. So today we are getting into a nice little conversation, a little debate about who makes who great. We hear a lot of times about how coaching is overrated, especially at the pro level. You hear how you can just roll the ball out with these boys and they'll get you a championship. You know, anybody I could have sat on the bench and coached that team. But then you hear on the other side of it where, man, like that coach is a mastermind. They are a great coach. I don't know how the players would have got through without this coach being in position. So today we're going to get into that conversation, that debate of who makes who great. Does the coach make the player great, or does the player make the coach great? So Nelson, which side of the fence do you stand on with this, man? Are you on the coaching side? The coaches are what develops and makes the players and make the superstars be who they are, or are the superstars making it easy for the coach to sit down and look good, make it look like they know what they're doing, man? So what you got, man?
I'm gonna answer your question with a question. Do you feel like Tim Duncan would not be Tim Duncan if he didn't get drafted to the Spurs and play for Greg Popovich?
Yeah, Timmy still be Timmy.
Okay, so then let me flip it. Not flip it, but let me ask you a different question. Do you feel like if Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan were to switch places and Tim would have been drafted to Minnesota and KG would have been drafted to San Antonio, do you think they both would have had the same success that they had? Like, would Timmy have messed around and still got some championships? He probably wouldn't have got 5. I ain't even gonna lie about that one. But would he still got some championships? Or would KG have gotten 5 rings, same way as Timmy did, or maybe more? So do you think they would have had the success that the other one had?
I believe KG definitely would have got a couple more rings. I think Timmy still would have got him 1 or 2 rings. I don't know about 5, but he definitely would probably got 1 or 2 of them.
All right, and I agree with you. I think that's exactly right. So my point of asking that is, I don't believe coaches make players great, but I do believe you need coaching to have team success. So as far as championships and stuff go, you do need a certain degree of coaching. Like, coaching is involved; it's a big part of it. But as far as individual success, since we're talking about do coaches make players, we talking from an individual standpoint. I feel like greatness is greatness. You're not going. Now, can a player be in the wrong system for them? Yes. And can they find a system that fits them better? Totally. Like, that's 100% true. But that does not take away from how good a player is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You just been put in a better position to succeed, or at least team success. Case in point, Kevin Durant been on 4 teams in the last 5 years. Or, no, wait. 3 teams in the last 5 years. You can go to State, Brooklyn, and now Phoenix. Granted, he only played half a season with Phoenix so far. But you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And everywhere he went, he was Kevin Durant. He was a bucket getter. Same thing. And the ultimate case is LeBron. Because wherever LeBron went, there was championships. And none of us are going to sit here and say LeBron played for any great coaches except for Eric Spoelstra. Like some people say Ty Lue is a great coach, and that remains to be seen because he hasn't really had success outside of LeBron yet. You know, but outside of Eric Spoelstra, LeBron hasn't played for many great coaches. I'm trying to think of who I really remember him playing for. He played for Mike Brown for a minute in first stint in Cleveland. There was David Blatt, and he was a 1-year rental. And then after David Blatt, they brought in Ty Lue. And then LeBron left, and then he was playing for Frank Vogel. No, Luke Walton first. Then Frank Vogel. They won the championship, and then they fired Frank the year after they won the championship. And then now Darvin Ham. So I don't think anybody considers any of those coaches great. Someone, Frank Vogel, I say Frank Vogel's pretty good. He's a good coach. I think he's a solid coach. But nobody would say he's great. Eric Spoelstra's probably the only one. Yet every team LeBron's been on has won a championship and been to the finals at least once. I got to say at least once because the Lakers have only been once. But, other than the Lakers, multiple times. So that's why I say, like, coaching helps build team success. But as far as an individual player, nah. Coaches don't make that. Not at the pro level. Let me say that. At the pro level, I don't think so. Now, you play college basketball, high school basketball, I think coaching definitely helps because you're still developing as a player. And your coach's job and when you're young is to cultivate that talent. You know what I'm saying? That's part of your job as a high school coach. I have to prepare you for the next level. Same thing in college. I have to prepare you for the next level if you plan on going. Of course, we're trying to win, but from your individual standpoint, I have to prepare you for the next level. When you pro or NBA at least, this is the highest level. So you're going to get better, but you at this point, you know what to do. You know where to go. You might need a little bit of guidance, but you good. And if you are a first rounder, lottery pick, it's just as a coach, it's just his job to put you in position to be successful and then kind of give you guidance, make sure you know what to work on and how to be a professional. That's really it. But they don't make the greatness of an NBA player. I don't think so. They make the greatness of a team. The Spurs are a great organization, and that's partly because of Greg Popovich. The Boston Celtics, great organization, partly because of all the great coaches they had. But, obviously they have great players too, but that's a great organization. Same thing for the Lakers. Lakers had great coaches, but the great coaches make a great organization, a great team. But players gonna be players wherever they go. That's how they gonna. You can't take that away from them. That talent, that's good. They gonna have that talent everywhere they go.
Okay, so let's stick with the Spurs. Okay, Manu Ginobili is legendary player, Hall of Famer. Feel me? But as talented as he was, under the right coach, he was able to display his greatness. So Manu was a little wild. He was a little reckless at times. Same thing for Tony, especially when he was younger. But a lot of coaches wouldn't have been able to allow that greatness to be on display because he was so wild. He even had like this head scratching in the past. I'm like, bro, what were you thinking there? Like, why would you? That wasn't the best decision. But because Pop was so great, he had a vision for what he could be. He had a vision past the dumb turnovers and these silly mistakes and these wild shots. And it's like, oh, I see what you're working with here. Let me guide you and steer you in this direction to allow your greatness to flourish. Because on the wrong coach, would have been like, oh, what are you doing, bro? Like, let's go home. Like, go sit on the bench because you ain't doing right.
Come on, have a seat by me.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Matter of fact, assistant coach, you come get them, and y'all talk about that because I'm worried about everybody else now. So, yes, that's a role player and a Hall of Famer, but that's a great example of a coach making sure a great player can be great. So, yes, a player we're gonna be talented. It's like a gift with the box inside. I mean, the box with the gift inside. Like the box and the gift is not gonna be changed because it's in a different hands, but it's not gonna be utilized the same way under the wrong coach. So Manu's gonna be great. He's still gonna have the skill and talent, but being under Greg Popovich, he was able to show it. So Timmy gonna be Timmy regardless. It doesn't matter if he was with the Spurs, he was with the Hornets at the time, or it doesn't matter who he was with. He would have been Tim Duncan regardless. Now, we have been able to have that level of consistency and stability around him, which is where the KG versus Kobe versus Timmy debate kind of goes on because it's like, well, KG and Kobe didn't have the same stability as Timmy. So that's why the results are so different. Like Timmy didn't have to worry about so many things because from pop up solidified. Like him, RC, owner, everybody else there's like they're locked in. Like they leaving unless they want to leave. So Timmy didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff was outside of Timmy's hands because it's like, yo, I ain't got to search about A, B, C, D. Like I ain't got to search about none of that stuff. Cole be like, bro, Phil ain't here. I don't know what we doing. Like, come on, bro. Like, what? Sheesh. I gotta coach all these boys, and I gotta hoop. I gotta drop 81 points for us to win the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what we doing here. So, a great player is going to be great. They're going to still come with all the intangibles and great pieces, but the right coach will allow them to flourish and shine with the right guidance around them. So, yes, Tim Duncan's going to be great regardless. KG is going to be great. You know, Shaq was going to be nope. Nothing was going to stop Shaq from being Shaq. But I can minimize and take a couple notches down from where Shaq could have been by not utilizing him the right way and allowing him to be Shaq. I could have said, Shaq, stop doing X, Y, and Z. It's like, hold on, bro. Like I can't drop still. When we start like shooting from the other block, when I'm strong at this block, it's not great coaching. So a coach is not going to make the player, but I can definitely limit you to where you're not going to be as effective or as great as you could have been or should have been. So the superstars, they're going to be superstars regardless. There's only a handful of superstars that you have in the game at one point in time. But I can make you look like just the all-star. I can make you look like from an all-star to a really good role player, so on and so forth. But so I'm not going to quote unquote make the superstars, but all-star down, I can kind of shift the narrative around you depending on the situations you're built around. So that's why I say the coaches kind of do play a bigger role in making a player, so to speak.
And you're right. They do play a role, but like I said, I just feel like well, we have looked at Tim Duncan differently if he went somewhere else. Yes, because I don't believe he would have won 5 championships anywhere else. Well, I ain't gonna say anywhere, but in like KG shoes, KG in Minnesota, it's a mess over there. You know, they just starting the franchise, so you know it's tough for KG. But if I feel like if Tim and KG switch, Tim's still gonna hoop. Mike would, because KG won an MVP over there, and KG won multiple Defensive Player of the Years, but KG couldn't get no ring. And this is the case in point right here. You referenced KG, Kobe, and Tim because they all in that same era. Mm-hmm. Out of them 3, Tim the only one who ain't never wanted to trade. Because Kobe at one point in time, as we know now, was looking for a trade. And KG, as we obviously see, wanted that trade to Boston. So that's what I'm saying. Like, coaching helps team stability, team success. Because I don't know the math on it. I ain't going to try that like I do. But I know Kobe went through multiple coaches in that stint after Phil Jackson. Same thing with KG. The Timberwolves went through multiple coaches while he was there. So there's no stability. Tim get drafted by Greg Popovich. David Robinson already here. You know what I'm saying? They already got some good going. Championship. And when we went over this one day, after Tim first year got his feet wet, and the next year they won 50 games and won 50 games almost every year after that. That's stability. Now, if Greg Popovich would have retired in the middle of like all that, like let's say Greg Popovich retired in 2012, do I think them last 6-7 years of his career, Tim would have still been Tim? Yes, but would the Spurs be competing for championships? I don't think so. I just don't. Because like a system does a lot for a player, like you said, but the system is what makes like I said, the system is for the team. Now, granted, we might play around Tim Duncan. That might be the system, but that's for the overall team success. Tim gonna get his, Shaq gonna get his, Kobe gonna get his. Like I said, in that stint without Phil Jackson, they went through multiple coaches, but they ain't stopped Kobe for averaging 30 a season, having a whole month, averaging almost 40 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't much folks could do to stop that. You think they coach was just not calling plays for Kobe? Kobe just being Kobe. That's him. That's his game. So I just feel like you can't take that away from certain guys. Like, now what I will tell you, I'll give you this. I feel like coaches can make role players. A star caliber player, he gonna be a star wherever he go. Don't matter what happens. We see it everywhere. Like Dame been playing in Portland his whole career. Teams ain't never been championship contending teams, but he's still Dame, and we all respect it. We all respect it. Now, Dame would have been in Golden State and Steph would have been in Portland. I feel like Dame might have a couple championships. Now, Steph a little bit better than Dame and got a little bit bigger impact than Dame on the game, so I ain't no telling how the Trailblazers will look. But if we swap them two places and let them play out their careers like that, I'm fairly certain that Dame got a couple rings. But I feel like coaches do make role players though. Like, case in point, Bruce Brown. We just saw the Nuggets win the championship. And Bruce Brown, people don't be noticing this though, or don't really realize this. The year before, Bruce Brown was playing for Steve Nash in the Brooklyn Nets. And y'all ain't know that, did it? Because he wasn't doing nothing for the Nets. Like, in that time, like he wasn't a big impact player. He was a role player, but he wasn't having a big impact. He go play for the Nuggets, and boy, impacting the game. I'm talking about big buckets. I'm talking about 11 points in the fourth quarter buckets. I'm talking about they up 4 with 2 minutes left. Jokic missed Bruce Brown for the tip in, put him up 6. Big shots. I'm talking about like needed back-breaking shots from role players. Same thing for like KCP. Big role player. We use with the Lakers, big role player. And it's just like guys like that, you can't take, like, they need to be put in position to win. They need to be put in the right position. I mean, not to win, but to succeed. To look like a good player, they need to be in the right position, in the right system. Not Jokic. Jokic don't need to be in no specific place. Now, he needs certain guys around him. That's basketball, but you put Jokic on any team, he gonna be Nikola Jokic. You put Bruce Brown on any team, he might go from being Bruce Brown of the Nuggets to Bruce Brown of the Nets. And he's the same guy, but he put in a different position. And that's where I can say coaching helps. But if we talking stars, they just need to be, they just give them the ball. They just need the basketball, and they're gonna be themselves.
I got to push back on that one, bro. Like, okay, I'm gonna hit home for you this one. Let's start old school. Magic. Okay. Magic is the trendsetter. Like, he is, what was that, 30 years ahead of his time? 40 years ahead, 30, 40 years ahead of his time, being a 6'9" point guard. Now we're seeing a 7-foot joker. Now we're seeing LeBrons and the Pennies and the Lamar Odoms and so on and so forth being able to hand the ball now because of Magic. Magic is what set the standard for, okay, just because he's over this height doesn't mean he can't be the primary ball handler or your point guard. But if, Pat Riley, I believe he was the coach at that time, if Pat Riley was not saying, yeah, that worked in college, I don't care what you did in Michigan State, bro. Oh, up here, you're a wing. Get a ball to Byron Scott or whoever the guard is. You go
Norm Nixon.
Floor. Norm Nixon. Like, Norm Nixon is a PG. You over there as a 3, maybe 4. Like, we ain't playing that over here. Magic wouldn't have been Magic. Magic would have been, don't get me wrong, he would have been great, but he definitely would have been Showtime Magic. KG, he's allowed to stretch the floor and do a little bit of everything. But if he said, I don't even pick a coach, he had so many, if one of the coaches would have been like, nah, bro, like, we ain't allowing you to shoot no middies. Like, we ain't doing all that, bro. To stay in the post. Or we're not allowing you to do, like, stop yelling all. Like, he would have contained him to an extent to where he wouldn't have been fully KG. Giannis, your boy, he got developed to be Greek Freak. If the right coach wouldn't have developed, I think people say how J. Kidd had a big impact on his career, developing him to being who he was today. But if J. Kidd wouldn't have developed him like he should have been, he probably would have been, a role player, would have been out the league. Like, he wouldn't have been Greek Freak as we know him now. So some stars come out the gate, you know, KG, boom, Magic, boom, Timmy, they gone, they good. The Kobe's and the Giannis's had to develop and grow and allow to become the final form of who they were or are, in the case of, you know, Greek. But Joker is a great example to where beginning of the league, people didn't. I don't even think people remember this. It was a debate going on between him and what's your boy? He's in Portland. Yosef Nurkic.
Yusuf Nurkic.
Yusuf Nurkic. It was a debate between how should the Nuggets handle and play both of them. Now, looking back at it, knowing what we know now, looking back, they probably could have played together and make it, you know, a nice little big man 1-2 punch. Maybe, you know, it probably could have worked out. It might have had it been, you know, Joker starting and Nurse coming off the bench type of thing. I don't know. It might have could have worked out. I don't know. But back then, that was like a serious debate of like who we're keeping. Now you're like, bro, obviously it's Joker, but Joker was not Joker back then. He was a very talented player, but he wasn't the Joker. Like he wasn't MVP caliber player. He developed into that, and that's a great point of coaching because the coaching staff developed him to allow to become the final form of what we see now of averaging triple-double basically the whole finals, or at least 20 and 10 the whole finals, and a 30-20-10 game in the finals. Like, but he wasn't like that when he first came in. Greek Freak wasn't Greek Freak. He was just some young prospect from overseas. So coaching does culminate some of the talent of the top tier players. But even with the guys who come in being the guy, I could box you in by not allowing you to fully display who you are. But especially if you're like the generational talents, like Magic, there's still not another Magic. Like I could have been conformed by the time of what, like I said, Magic was 30, 40 years ahead of his 30 to 40 years. That's generations, bro. So I could have been stuck in the 80s, 90s mindset of you're 6'9", like pass the ball. Why are you bringing the ball on the court? Get the rebound, give it to Norm, and you go run the lanes. So I think on that end, that is what great coaching does. You have to have a vision, not just seeing what's there, but have a vision for what the great player can be. So Magic wouldn't have been Magic. He would have been Irvin Johnson if it wasn't for the great coach allowing him to be what he was. Probably still would have been Hall of Famer. Still probably got some rings because he's playing with Kareem. But he wouldn't have been Showtime Magic Johnson. He would have boxed in a little bit, and it would have been a little less flavor because he wouldn't have been able to express all 50 tools on his tool belt of what he can be as Magic. Like, he's a pretty good passer as a wing, you know. He's a solid guy, you know. That would have been it. But being Magic and let him run the floor like he want, 20 dimes. At least 3 or 4 highlights at the gate every game. So I might not make you, but I sure can minimize you and limit you to not be the full picture of who you are in case of the generational talents. Then you want to go to the other level of the developed talents. Like you've seen how Kobe was in the beginning as a rookie to where he is, 20 years later. Greek Freaks and Jokers to where they developed to becoming. Kawhi Leonard is a great example, becoming who they were. So I might not be able to fully make you still would have been talented, but I still would have had an impact in the trajectory of your career with the right or wrong coach.
Look, let's be serious, man. Stop playing around. All right? You didn't got too comfortable. You didn't got relaxed. You forgot that you still got people behind you chasing you right now. You still got people to catch up to. You think just because you won a championship or you had a pretty good game last time that you can relax now. We ain't gonna write none of that stuff. Your goal right now is to look at how you were yesterday. Look at the player you were last night. Figure out how to be better than that person. Right now is you versus you. Your goal right now is to make progress in the person that you were last night. The person that you were yesterday. The person this week should be the person from last week. The person this month should be the person from last month. On the court and off the court. Personal development too. So right now progress is the only goal. We ain't worried about what other people got going on. Focus on progress. It's you versus you. It's me versus me. So that right there is your mission. That's your goal. I don't care about who says the best in state is. I don't care about any of that. Your goal right now is to be better than you were yesterday. I don't care if you struggling to make the team. I don't care if you the last player they're looking at to make the team. We ain't worry about none of that. Your goal right now is to be better than you were yesterday. I don't care if you're the number 1 player in the nation. I care less. Your goal right now is to be better than you were yesterday. So go ahead and get you one of these, because you need that reminder. Because you got too comfortable. That's the issue. You got too comfortable. This can't get you comfortable right here. So go ahead, get you a reminder. Get you like a flag hanging as a reminder to say progress is on the goal.
Yeah, I think you are right. The right coach, the right coach does have a input on your career. He can affect the trajectory of your career greatly. But I feel like I'm gonna use me as the example at this point. When I came to CSU, I'll be the first one to tell you, I was not fully prepared for D2 basketball like that. You know what I mean? But that's most JUCO guys. Some JUCO guys show up and be ready. But most JUCO guys, you know, there's a transition period of like trying to get used to a higher level. And so I was going through my transition period through COVID. But we only played 12 games. But I can tell you the trajectory of my career from as Coach Moore from a coaching standpoint. I was the second string big. My homeboy Tree starting in front of me. Love Tree to death. You know what I'm saying? I just was hooping with him just now, really. So I love Tree. That's my dog. Tree starting in front of me. I know deep down I should be starting in front of Tree. But Tree got college experience on this level, and I don't. So they go with Tree. I ain't mad, though. You know, it's one of them things. Like, you know, got to earn your way. Whatever. About 4 games in, they start starting me. Because of my defensive presence, I hustle more, play harder than Tree was at the time. And so I started. But I still wasn't producing very much. I wasn't scoring a lot, nothing like that, because I didn't have a whole lot of offensive ability. I kind of was just a trash man. Defense, rebounding, tip ins, maybe a drop off here and there, stuff like that. Trash guy. So, but I remember our very last game of that season, what turned out to be our last game because it got cut short to COVID. Playing a Division I school, College of Charleston, never forget it. I came out. I don't know if I ever told this story. I came out of the game at the 10-minute mark in the second half. I'm having a great game for me at that point in my career. I'm having a great game. I'm 4 for 4, 8 points, 6 rebounds, and still 10 minutes left in the game. So against a Division I school. So I'm like, okay, I'm having a good game. This is double alert. You know what I'm saying? Double alert. 8.6 rebounds, 10 minutes left in the game. So he take me out. I'm like, okay. He put Tree in. I'm like, okay. Finna get a little breather. Go back in probably. I'm playing good. So I'm thinking I'm going to go back in. You know what I'm saying? I just got to put back dunk and everything. Like, I got to put back dunk a couple minutes before I came out. So I'm like, oh, yeah. Tree going in. He probably going to see me for about 5 minutes. Send me back about the 5-minute mark. Finish the game out. We're going to win. Because it's a close game. I'm like, we're going to win. We're finna be a D1 school. I'm ready. I'm sitting. About the 5-minute mark, I'm like, it should be any minute now. Next thing I know, coach said, Christian, go get Tree. Christian is a guard. Puts Christian in for Tree. I'm like, it's kind of weird. Why are you putting Christian in for Tree? He put Christian in for Tree, moved Hunt to the 5. Hunt was playing the 4. He moved him to the 5. So now we got a small ball lineup here. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, game still close, but we up. So I'm like, okay. Get down 2-3 minutes. And then my coaches, my assistant coaches, my boy Steven Peoples, love him to death. That's my guy. That's my guy. I love him to death. He used to train me and everything. We was like this, boy. Steven tell me, I'm going to try to get you back in the game. Try to tell him to get you back in the game. He felt it. And he told Cole, I'm looking at we in a timeout. I see him say it. It's like, you want to go back, Nelson? I see them look at me. They talking in their hell. They say, they were just like that. They looking at me. I'm looking them dead in the face like, tell me to go to the table, bro. Like, I'm ready. I see Coach shake his head. I can't hear what he's saying, but I see him shake his head. Like, nah. Later on, I found out he said, nah, keep Christian in because he wanted to keep free throw shooting in. I can't shoot free throws that good. Christian shoot free throws like 88%. And we up. I think we was up like 4. He was like, I want to keep free throw shooting in, and else can't shoot free throws. So long story short, we sold the game away, never even went to the free throw line Oh, actually, somebody did, but they missed. I ain't gonna say no names. It wasn't Christian though. But we turn the ball over, don't play no defense for real. They scoring, we not. They come back, we go to overtime, we lose. Not only did I not play that whole last 10 minutes, when we went to overtime, I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm mad. I'm like, he probably finna try to put me in overtime. I've been sitting over here the last 10 minutes of the whole regulation. That's a long time in real life. 10 minutes of regulation basketball is a long time outside of basketball.
Yep.
So, and then, it's a close game, so there's been a lot of timeouts and everything. So I'm like, man, he finna try to put me in overtime. I've been sitting over here forever. Guess what? Didn't even put me in there. Said, Zoe, go get Christian. Sent another guard in there. Zoe go in the game, end up missing 2 dunks. Dunks, not layups, not contested layups. Dunks missed in overtime. And we lose the game. When the game was over, I said, all right. I grabbed my little warm-up and walked off. I mean, I shook their hand and stuff. The guys on the team, like, sitting there like this. Like, everybody blowed. Like, dang, did we really just lose? Did that just happen? I'm like, yeah, we lost. And I know why. But anyway, fast forward to later on in the locker room. I'm putting my clothes on. I'm hot. I'm like mad. I'm like, I don't want to talk to nobody. We just lost. He ain't put me in. I'm having a great game. He ain't put me in. I'm mad. I ain't saying nothing. Coach said, man, Nelson, I should have had you in at the end of the regulation, man. I should have had you in the end of the game. I said, yeah. He said, man, I tried to go with Christian because for free throw shooting, I thought they were going to have to foul. I didn't think, we were going to do all that and turn the ball over, gave them the game away. I should have had you in there. And he apologized, which was big to me. Made me feel better about the situation. I was like, hey, at least he was man enough to apologize. But that moment, I believe that moment said in his mind, like, okay, we need to trust Nelson more. And vice versa, it said in my mind, like, I need to be trusted. So I worked on my free throws that all season. But he knew then that he should have had me in the game. And that was a big game. So it was like, I know in his mind, he's like, I had to trust Nelson. I should have trusted Nelson. And in my mind, I'm like, I got to get to a point where coach trusts me. And then that offseason is, when we talked about it, he said, that's when we said on the show, that's when he came to me and Hunt and said, hey, I ain't recruiting no more bigs. I feel like I got the 2 best bigs in the league. That's exactly what he said. And the rest is history. So that's just how coaching can affect the trajectory of your career. He realized at a certain point, this is one of the guys I need to go with from now on. Because I feel like if he would have been in this important game, we would have won. And because I didn't have him in the game, we lost. Now, he didn't know that was going to be our last game. Neither did we. COVID just shut us down. But that next season, he corrected that mistake. He was like, nah, we got to go with Nelson. We got to go in there. Like, we got to trust. We got to ride with him. And so, if he would have been the type of coach to just be stuck in his ways and say, hey, man, nah. Like, I feel like I made the right decision. These guys just effed it up, and we lost. Then I don't know what my career would do. I probably would have transferred out. I can't lie to you. If he would not have been man enough to admit that, like, he should have me in the game, anything like that. I ain't saying he got to say what he said, but at least he had to acknowledge, like, yeah, man, I should have probably put you in regulation. He ain't even had to apologize. But just that acknowledgement would have made me feel better. But he acknowledged that he was wrong, apologized, and later on he said, hey, man, we going with you. Like, for now on, it's you. Like, you're going to be in the big games. So, coach affected the trajectory of my career big time. Put a lot of trust and faith in me and stuff like that. And you got to have that to be good. You got to have that. Because not only do you have to have confidence in yourself, your coach got to have confidence in you. But I feel like I was going to put in the work regardless to be good. Now, whether I would have did that at Columbus State or somewhere else, that would have been up to coach. But I was going to put in that work to be good regardless. I just needed him to trust me and put me in position to win. Because, like I said, the rest is history. I've been in many big games since then. Have been the reason we won a couple. I've been the reason we lost a couple. But you got to ride with me because I'm one of your guys. Like, you got to ride with the best players you got. And so that's why I say, like, coaching does affect the trajectory of your career, but I'm going to do what it takes to make me the best player possible, regardless of what happens, or who I play for. And if I feel like this ain't the right system for me, or I'm not being utilized correctly, I'm going somewhere else, so I can be me, so I can be the player that I know I am, and play the way I want to play. Now, I ain't selfish. I ain't saying I got to touch the ball every time down, but I know the way I like to play, and I know if I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I knew I wasn't meant to be a trash man forever. That's what I knew. I knew I wasn't going out to be tip ins, rebounds, block shots my whole career. Now, do I do that? Yes, I do that very well. You know what I'm saying? That's part of my game. But I knew that wasn't all I could do. And he realized that over time too. And so that, like, the coaching didn't make me. Did he help me? And was coach a big help to my career? Of course, never taking that away from me. But he didn't make me the player I am today. He trusted me and put me in position to win. And we won. So that's why I got to ride with players, man. Players gonna be themselves. As long as they know who they are and how to play, and you get better. Obviously you got to work on your game, but coaches just got to put you in position to win. That's where team success comes from. But put me in the position I need to be in, we good.
Okay, so even with putting you in the right position, that's like you said, the trust and communication becomes a two-way street. So the most famous example of people love to say this coach is overrated. All you have to do is roll the ball out. These boys would have got him 6 rings regardless. It's Phil Jackson, Michael. Well, not 6, but you get what I'm saying. So Phil Jackson, Pip, and Rodman, right? Everybody loves to say, Phil Jackson, that's easy. You got the arguably or, hands down, I don't care about the exactness of the title, but the GOAT. You have a top 5 player, one of the probably top 5 all-time two-way players in Pip. Then you got probably the GOAT of defense and rebounding in Rodman. Like on paper, that's supposed to win, bro. You have 2 of the top 5 players in the game, and Rodman probably being the best defensive player in the game. Like, bro, that's supposed to win. Like, that's easy money. But do y'all know how wild Rodman was? Like, Pippen, not to say he wasn't a great player, but some of his teammate skills weren't the best. We all know how brutal Jordan was as a leader. Like, sheesh, that man was a dictator, ruthless. I respect it though, because you got the best out of players. But if there wasn't for Phil Jackson, I don't know how many other coaches could have handled the situation, to be honest with you. Maybe 3 others around that time. Maybe. That's a really strong maybe. So I don't know. But the wrong coach, that would have blew up in their face. It would have been like, oof, that was maybe we shouldn't have got Rodman. Maybe we should have stuck with Horace Grant, or maybe we should have went with this player over here instead of getting Rodman. Maybe we should have rolled and got that. Maybe they could have got Barkley. I don't know. There's so many other options that you could have leaned towards at that position. But that's where Phil Jackson comes in. And it's not like the X's and O's. We can get to that later. But like just the management and the leadership of the coach makes a lot. So Phil Jackson, Mike being the dictator he was, but Phil being as easygoing and he's not forcing the flow of the boat. But he is kind of gently guiding and curating to where these environments are allowed and encouraged. All infamous example of Rodman going to Vegas the night before a game. How many coaches would play out, not just regular game, but playoff game in the middle of a series? Like, hey, coach, let me go to Vegas. Go to who? Like to my right, like right now, off season, yeah, do your thing, bro. I'm talking about tonight. Boy, if you don't, boy, you don't lost your ever loving boy in the middle of the playoff game. What? Would have been throwing hands on a plane ride there. Boy, who you think you? Boy, no, I don't. You to play bad? No, bro, we're not doing that. Phil said, "Do your thing, fam. Just be back in count this time for the game." He did that, went stupid. He went crazy in this game, but that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for his leadership. And then the next time people might, well, Jordan let that happen. Jordan let that happen because Phil was there. Phil said, he said, what? I go what Phil do. Cool. So Jordan trusted Phil's leadership and guidance because he curated this environment, this relationship with Mike and Pip and Rob and the rest of the boys to say, "Hey, do your thing, fam. That's if these you need. If this is what gets you the once again the vision to say this what gets you to perform to get 30 rebounds next night. Do your thing, man. I ain't got too much to say to you. I trust you. So that trust is a two-way street to where the player has to trust the coach has to trust the player. But more than likely, it starts with the coach. It kind of goes to what I want to talk about the leadership aspect of the coach is the ultimate leader. It starts from the top down. So going back to Timmy, the reason why the Spurs were great and allowed to be that 20-year run of greatness that they were is because of Pop saying, "Hey, Timmy, you my guy, I love you, but I got to coach you right because it starts with the head and flows down. So I don't care how great you are, I'm coaching you because I need to coach you. You're not a know-it-all. I don't care how great you are. Yeah, you got 20 and 10, but we can clean up that 20 and 10 and make sure everybody else gets involved too. So you're great, but I need us to be great too. Because Kobe lost his way with that. Like it was us when it was him and Fish and Shaq, all those guys. Then became Kobe ball. No shade to any of his teammates, but it became Kobe ball for a minute because he didn't have the connection between him and his teammates. Part of it because of the coaching, but whatever. But the right coach allows the player to flourish a little bit better because of the environment they create. So Timmy didn't have to worry about so many things because Pop was handling all these things, and Timmy could just go hoop. I can be a great teammate, a great captain of my team, to where I don't have to worry about all this stuff. So, like for you on the floor, the teams don't have to worry about defense. As me being a guard, I don't have to worry about anything behind me because I know Nelson got my back. He's gonna call out all the screens. He's gonna call out what if it's a flat screen, I know what to do, what the action needs to be. Do I go over? Do I go under? I ain't got to worry about all that stuff because Nelson's back there. Same thing for you as your coach. I ain't have to worry about certain stuff. So if I hear something from the sideline, I'm not second guessing it as much because I know my coach is over there. So imagine that going on at the pro level when you have trades and signings and cuttings and less minutes, more minutes, switching in the lineups. All these things are dictated by the coach. But you chilling because, hey, Pop said it. Cool. I might question it. I might not think it's a bit. That's my boy. I rock with him, man. That's my favorite. He ain't playing, but that's my favorite go-to, hype man on the bench, bro. Like I know I made a dunk, and I'm looking for him to gas me up, bro. Like that's the player right there. But he just got traded. That's my boy, man. But Pop said it, so all right, cool, man. Like, you know how many battles Timmy never had to fight because Pop was right there. That's because of Pop. If it was some other Joe Blow on the bench, and be like, yo, bro, what we doing here? Like that's not cool. So coaching might not make the player, but I take a lot of stress off of you, and I create the right environment to where you can be you fully and not have to second guess and question things. So I create the right environment to where things flow and ebb how they should go. So I allow you to be you by creating this environment and putting the right pieces around you to where you can go and do you. So like, once again, Magic, we traded a piece away so Magic can be Magic. I could have been stubborn and being like, yo, no, get your 6'9" but on the wing. He is the PG. You figure it out from there. But no, I'm a smart coach. I have a vision. So I can say, you know what? I see Magic. I see Showtime. Do your thing. Matter of fact, let's get him out the way for you so there's no issues, no beef. We're clearly going with you. So that's why I think coaching can make the player to where, yes, you're great, but now you're flourishing a little bit higher level to where all your greatness can fully bloom because I create the right environment for you to grow. So yes, it's going to be a sunflower seed, but I'm playing you in the right soil with the right water to where you can fully grow and be the full expression of a sunflower. So I think coaches do have a bigger hand into like the player development and being who they really can be.
Hey, relax. It's okay. Listen, I understand that your goal is so big that it just feels daunting. It just feels overwhelming. Like you're trying to get to the NBA, you're trying to get to the WNBA. You're trying to play D1 college ball. I understand sometimes that feels like a lot. But listen, you're not gonna make that jump from now tomorrow to be to the league or be in D1. So let's just slow down and focus on the whole journey. Enjoy where you're at right now. but don't get too comfortable. You have to still keep working. You still have to make some type of progress and still keep growing. All you gotta do is think about this. If the minimum I can do today is get 1% better, you win it. There are some people gonna take steps backwards. There are some people that's gonna stop and just be equal. But technically you're not gonna be equal because I'm getting better than you, so it means you feel backwards now. And so you gotta get 1% better. Because it's a slow grind from where you're at now to where you wanna get to. You don't have to worry about taking over the world in one day. Just take over step by step. One piece at a time. 1% better. It's a whole journey. Okay? You got this goal that's just hanging over you, weighing you down. But this goal, the end destination, it's not gonna change. So you have to appreciate the journey and taking steps to get there. You're a marathon runner, but the whole marathon is about focusing on that next step. So I need you to go ahead and look at whatever one you want. You can get this one of the other ones. But I need you to get this reminder for you. Get you a hoodie, a t-shirt, whichever one, as a reminder that progress is my only goal. And progress don't mean I'm perfect. Progress don't mean I'm there. Progress means I'm getting better. Because better and better adds up to being the best you that you can be. But the best is not existing because you're always going to get better. So get you this peaceful reminder right here to say, hey, all I gotta do is be a little bit better, 1% better, and I'll get to that goal at some point. Just remember, it's about the entire journey and not just the end goal, because progress is the only goal.
I mean, hey, I don't know, man. I'm a player, so I train my butt off though. Now, did I do the stuff that coach wanted me to do or get better at? Yeah, but I trained my butt off to make myself the best player I could possibly be. You know what I'm saying? So I can't sit here and say a coach made me when I know what I was working on or doing behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? People don't see the work. They just see the game. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, coach went in the gym with me. He was like, only at practice. But I was in there working out with Carl. I was in there working out with Steven, working out with Butler, working out with, like, whoever was available. Getting guys to help shoot with me, getting guys to rebound, getting on the gun by myself. Like, I cannot say coach made me. I feel like coach used me the right way. I can't say that. But I feel like wherever I would have went, I was going to make my way. And if I felt like I wasn't being used the right way, I was going to leave. So you're right. Coaches do put you in position to win or be in a position to be the best version of you could be. But like I said, when I first got to Coach Moore, I was a second string B. I've been every role. I was a second string B when I first came, role player. Then I began starting, but I was a starting role player. Then the next year, I was starring key piece. Wasn't the star, key piece, DPOI. Then my third year, it's like, hey, man, we go as far as you go. So I've been in every role. So can I really say coach was using me or put me in position to be as successful as possible? Or no, let me not say that. Can I really say coach made me when I done been every role in the book? You know what I'm saying? Can I say he made me? Now, granted, he could have went the opposite direction and be like, no, you a block shots, rebound, and big. That's what you do. He could have did that. But I made it impossible for him to do that. I didn't give him no choice because I'm out here doing stuff that, like, wasn't in his plan. And we asked him when we had Omar on the show, we might bring him back on here now that I'm done, just so he can answer these questions. But we asked him way back then, like, did you ever think Nelson could do the things he can do now? No. He'll tell you, no. The threes I took, the shots off the bounce that I took, the post moves that I had, no. He never thought I was going to do none of that. Like, so can I say he made me? No. He was not cultivating me to be what I became. I did that myself. And he recognized what I had. And, I had to show him. I had to prove myself. And that's why I say coaches don't make players. Because once you prove yourself, you just got to be a good coach. If you're a good coach, you're going to realize, okay, he making these shots. He making the best decision with the ball. I'm going to start him at PG, whatever. When Pop got Tony Parker, a second-round draft pick. A lot of people don't realize that. Same thing for Manu Ginobili. I think he was second or third round draft pick. But when guys come in and prove themselves, you as the coach, you the basketball mind, you the coach, you just got to recognize the talent when you see it. Like, okay, Manu pretty good at this when he in these spots in these positions. If I play Manu with Tony, they gonna be pretty good. Oh, but I got Bruce Bowen. Do I not start Bruce Bowen? If I start Manu, that's taking shots away from Tim. Let's let Manu come off the bench. And we start Bruce Bowen. Bruce, our defensive guy, he ain't looking for that many shots. We get Tim the ball and starting lineup. Whenever we give Tim and Tony a break, Manu come in, he take over, do his thing. That's just good coaching. Some coaches ain't good coaches. That's your part of it. Whatever job you have, any job in this world, there are going to be bad ones in that job. I don't care if you're talking about coaching or firefighters, like bankers, tellers. Some tellers count faster than others. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Sometimes you have bad coaches, but you being a good coach, all you got to do is look and recognize what guys are proving in front of you. And then take that and put them in that position in games. Now, it's easier said than done, obviously. Mm-hmm. But that's why they the coach. It's what you get paid to do. I get paid to put the ball in the hoop. You get paid to put me in position to do the said things. And that's just what it is. So that's why I say coaches don't make players. Players are gonna make themselves. They prove themselves and coaches put them in that position. I feel like that's the trade-off. You show me what you can do. I hit my mic a little bit. Sorry. You show me what you can do, and I'm going to put you in that position. That's what I feel like coaching is. Me as the player, I'm going to show you what I can do. And all you got to do as a coach is say, all right, so Nelson has shown this. Let's put him here. Now, I feel like coaches are getting away from being stuck in their ways. There used to be a lot, like you brought up Magic. For a long time, coaches would be stuck in their ways. This their philosophy. This is what it's going to be. This is how I play. This is how my teams have always played. And then you get a guy like Magic Johnson, and it's like, I ain't never had no 6'9" point guard. You finna be on that block. But Magic proved he can handle the ball, he can pass, he's a facilitator. And he putting your team in the best position to win. So once Magic Johnson proved that, oh, shoot, he running the flow, he finding guys when they open, he's seeing passes that Norm Nixon ain't never found. So I'd be a fool not to let him do that. If he done proved it to me, I'd be a fool not to play him at the position that he's good at. And I think that's the line. I proved to you, I proved to coach, hey, coach, I can shoot a little bit. I ain't no Ray Allen, but I can shoot a little bit. So when I step out and I get a catch and shoot three, I need you to have my back. Trust that I'm going to make it. Because if you don't, I ain't going to never make it. You know what I'm saying? But I proved that. Hey, coach, if I get the ball on this block and I can make a move and score. If I get the ball on this block, this left jump hook good. Coach, when I set the screen and roll, if they can hit me on the roll, I can score because I'm going downhill, my man at disadvantage. I can get the ball to the hoop. These are the things I had to prove, though. And once proven, I was put in that position from then on. It wasn't no more, man, I should have had you in the game. You know what I'm saying? And it was coach's mistake at the time, but at the same time, I had not proven to him that I was ready to be in that position. And that's the lesson here. That's the lesson. I had not proven everything I needed to prove to be in that position, in that game. As much as I wanted to be in, and as bad as I wanted to play, and do I believe I'd have been in the game we would have won? Yes. 1,000 times yes. If I would have been in the game, we was going to win. But I had not proved that to the man that with the clipboard. You know what I'm saying? The man that makes the decisions didn't trust it because I had not proved it. And I had not proven to be a good free throw shooter. You know what I'm saying? And he went with the guy that can shoot free throws. It just ain't work out this time. But that's just what it was. So that's why I just can't go with that. Coach ain't make me. I proved what I could do, and he put me in them positions to do that. And so that's how I feel about all of it now.
Well, I ain't gonna say coach. Of course, like being a trainer, bro, of course I don't make my players. Like, of course you got to be in the gym, put up the reps and put in the work. I'm not saying I hand stitched and designed and I took the wrench and tweaked everything about your. Nah, I ain't saying all that. But at the same time, looking at where coaches come in, who was it? I think it was either Jamal Crawford. Like, we all know how busy Jamal Crawford gets, bro. Like, he told the story of how he dropped a 50 ball, 50, 5-0. And coach he said something crazy, and it's just like, no, I'm not on playing you. I'm like, wait, what? Took his confidence away. Jamal lost his confidence after a 50 ball. What? 50? Not 15, but 50 in the pro level, like against people stopping him, designing to stop him from getting points. He scored 50 of them. He lost his confidence. Like, wait, what? Like, you tell a player right now, bro, hey, you dropping 50 tomorrow. Oh, they gassed up. Like, yo, let's go. Like, I've been dreaming of this, bro. Like, it's only happening in 2K. I can't do this in real life. I'm finna drop 50? Yes. But the coach either can build or take away your confidence, depending on what they do. So, of course, I'm not making you put the reps in, put the shots in. Your skill and talent is going to be what they are. But to be able to let it flourish is on me. So I can make you be Magic, or I can make you be Irvin. I can let you be Mr. Fundamental Tim Duncan, or I can let you be a really great player in Tim Duncan. So I can boost you to the next notch or take you down that next notch, depending on how I see fit. So going back to Manu, a lot of coaches have the sight of what this player can do. So yes, I see Nelson developing and grew his game this way. But coach had a vision to say, I have the best two bigs in the game. Like, wait, what? Y'all didn't see that. The coach's vision saw that, to where it's like, you sure you don't want to get a third big just in case, coach? Like, I know we good. I know we can hoop, but you have the best two bigs in the game? The best, not one of the best two, but I'm talking about 1 and 1. Best offensive big and the best defensive big. You have that, you have those two, like, together at the same time. Not like in your coaching career, but on this team right now. You see that right now. That's visionary, bro. A lot of coaches don't. That's the piece that's missing from a lot of coaches. A lot of coaches see what's going on, X's and O's, and like, all right, cool, that's cute. But to say, man, Penny Hardaway, that man like 6'7", 6'8". Let me test him out with the Magic role. Let him be a primary ball handler. I see LeBron doing. I know he's supposed to be a 6'8" small forward, but let him be the primary ball handler too. I see what Kobe can do. Man, that's some tough air balls, but let me keep trusting him and rocking with him, let him develop and grow what he can do. So a lot of coaches, most players and people have the sight to see what's going on. So it's a whole different thing to have vision. The great coaches have a vision for the game or for a player's game to say, you know what, man, this Steph Curry guy, he's a pretty good shooter, but how about we let him work on his ball handle a little bit more and let him be a primary ball handler? And, I see him being, like Mark Jackson said, I got the two best shooters in the game, like historically, two of the two best shooters. They didn't see that. Mark Jackson said, I see a little bit more for you. So that's what coaches come in to, where you're great, you're working, you're going to be doing this and doing that. But when I tell you Steph Curry went from going this route to being good to being one of the best all time, arguably top 10 right now, that's a lot of credit to Mark Jackson. Now, Steve Kerr, has a big role in this too, but Mark Jackson turned that bus a whole different direction, bro. We took an exit and said, we're going up here, fam. You're going to be one of the best all time. So it's like, yeah, I might not make you, but I sure have a heavy impact in drifting you on this right road, because talked about a little bit earlier how a system can make or break a player. If I had Magic saying, all right, bro, you're going to slow the ball down and make sure Kareem get his touch with a pick and roll every single time. Time out now. Like, I gotta run a gun. I gotta flex my 6'9" legs, let it stretch out a little bit more, man. I can't sit up here and just walk the ball down every time. If you switch him and Isaiah, not just because of the talent of the team, but the caliber of player and playing style they had, that's two different totally outcomes you're looking at. Like, Isaiah was walking down the court with the Bad Boys Pistons. Him and Joe was getting busy. And then Magic was running the gun. Switched them to Isaiah would have been running the gun and cool, but Magic wouldn't have been Magic with that slow down pace. He still would have been great, but he wouldn't have been Magic. So that's where great coaching comes in, to allow you to be that full expression of who you are, and either boosting you up to the next level to where yeah, you're a really great all-star, but I can boost you to have you be a superstar consistently. Or I can knock you back down. You should have been a superstar, but I'm taking you back a notch by making you be an all-star. So that's why I feel like coaching comes into it. It's the finer points that make you better than who you could have been, or take you down to where you less than who you should have been. So I think coaching got a little bit more prestige to it, a little bit more say so for a lot of players. Not every single one, but dang near all of them.
Hey man, some tellers count faster than others. Hey, that was all the dome. I'm gonna start using that though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna start using that. But there's good and bad everything in every job,
Mm-hmm.
and some great coaches and some bad ones. It's the reason we consider Pop a great coach, and it ain't just because of the championships. It's because who he won the championships with, and because of what in the position that he put them in, and the longevity of his success. So there's good and bad coaches in like in every system. I mean, in every league, every sport. It's a reason. Cream rises to the crop. I mean, what I say? No, what cream rises to the top. What am I trying to say? Cream rises to the top, man. We gonna find out who the best is, and I just can't. Like I said, coaching does have a big role in the trajectory of a player's career. But as far as making a player, nah. This is me. This is me. Hey, some players prove what they can do in college, and then now all I gotta do is coaches draft them. They put them in that position or a position to do what they can. And good coaches, like you said, had the vision to see what you can be, not just what you are right now. That's part of being a good coach. It's knowing what you can be. Jason Kidd probably knew what Giannis could be. Mark Jackson probably knew what Steph could be. You know what I mean? Pop knew what Tim could be. And that's part of the visionary. Coach Moore didn't know what I could be. I knew that. And then later on, he said, I got the two best bigs in the league. I ain't know that. But that was part of the vision. I had to show a little bit more. And then he seen it in me. I have to prove some things to him. He saw what I could become because he knew I was going to put the work in. So that's part of being a good coach. And like some coaches don't have a vision. And that's sad to say. Because if every coach did, who knows who would have been the best players around here? Shoot, doggone. I don't even know. Somebody like, it would be somebody we don't need, like you said, Jamal Crawford. You know who probably would have been really great? Brandon Jennings. If his coach had the vision, we might look at Brandon Jennings the same way we look at doggone Russell Westbrook or somebody, or Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell him the trajectory of his career. But that's part of it, man. Everybody can't play for Pop. Everybody can't play for Brad Stevens or Doc Rivers or, you know, what's his name? We just said it. Phil Jackson. There we go. It was escaping me. Everybody can't play for Phil Jackson. You know, that's part of it, man. But, hey, at the end of the day, you put the work in and you prove yourself, somebody going to recognize. Because, you know, hey, sometimes you Bruce Brown and you play for the Nets. And then sometimes you Bruce Brown and you play for the Nuggets. And you contribute and win the championship. So that's your part of it. No, I think Bruce Brown just got 10 times better between playing for the Nets and playing for the Nuggets. No. He's still the same player. Not saying he don't work on his game, but he is the same player. But put in that position, somebody saw the vision for him. Like, yeah, Bruce, we're going to put the ball in your hand a little bit more over here in Denver. And the rest is history. But that's all I got to say on it, man. Is there anything else you want to throw in there?
Yeah, so let me ask you this, man. So you asked me earlier if you swapped Timmy and KG, what their careers would have been like. So I'm going to ask you in a different route. If you swapped Phil and Pop, do you feel like they would have had the same output? Like, Pop is known as he's like neck and neck. It's like one of those two are the best coaches of all time in most people's debates. Right. So do you feel like Pop still would have had 11? I mean, Pop would have took over Phil and won 11 rings. I know we're throwing in players' rings in that too, but he got more, but just as a coach, you think Pop would have had 11 with, Phil? I mean, with Jordan and Kobe, and Pop would have had, his 5, or do you think it would have been more? Would have been less? What would you think the outcome of that would have been?
I don't know, man. That's a great question. It's kind of hard to say because I don't feel like Phil Jackson ever coached great big men like that. All his great players were wings. So I don't know if the triangle would have been like that for him. Oh, wait, he coached Shaq. Was Phil Jackson coaching Shaq and Kobe?
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So, no. You know, so you might. But I'm trying to think. Who was the Spurs wings at that time? They had Bruce Brown. When Tim and David Robinson was there, they had Vinnie Johnson, Avery Johnson,
Sean Elliott.
Sean Elliott. So, I mean, the teams are built so differently. Like, those early Spurs teams, early 90s, they had Tim and David Robinson. And the two best bigs in the league kind of thing. And they were successful with it. But this is my thing with Pop. Pop transition eras. You know what I'm saying? Pop was still good when eras started changing. Basketball started changing. And his team changed. Now, Tim was constant because Tim was there for 20 years. But it was Tim and David Robinson. And then early 2000s, David Robinson retired. Tim's still there. Tim's still Tim. No, he's still the best power forward ever played the game. So they still good. But we've seen a lot of guys, a lot of teams have one of the best players in their position and not win 50 games almost every season. And that's what they was doing, winning 50 games almost every season. Always a championship contender. Then you get Tony Parker, second-round draft pick. Manu Ginobili, second, third-round draft pick, whatever it was. Turned them into who they were. And then they win championships. Tony Parker, doggone finals MVP. Nobody saw that for his career. And then you mess around and get Kawhi Leonard and turn him into a finals MVP, a defensive player of the year. No, I don't think nobody saw that for him. So that's the thing that makes Pop special. Nobody saw those players being who they were. But Pop made it that way. And the system has changed to make them better, to put them in a better position. That's why we consider him such a great coach. Because he can't run the same offense he ran for Tim and David Robinson, for Tony Parker, Kawhi Leonard, and Tim Duncan. It ain't built the same. And Tiago Splitter. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same team. It's not built the same way. So you can't run it the same way. So that's why we look at Pop so like and hold him in such light, because it's like, man, how did you get these guys that nobody saw greatness in, bring them together and make them great? And that's the thing that makes Pop great. The thing about Phil is Phil inherits some of the best players that ever played the game, put them in position to win. Now, does that mean his job is easy? No, not by any means. You still got to manage Michael Jordan. They always talk about how he had to get Mike to realize, like, you need to trust your teammates, you need to pass the ball, trust them, but even in big moments, trust them. And then later on down the line, Mike to Steve Kerr hit the big shot. Not saying Phil knew that was going to happen, but he knew he was going to have to trust his teammates if he was ever going to be successful. And then the rest is history. Shaq and Kobe, same thing with Kobe. Got to get Kobe to trust his teammates. Running the triangle, making sure Shaq eat, but Kobe eat, because you got two alphas. You got to control. You got to make sure they can coexist. You coach Dennis Rodman. Got to keep him under control. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep him on the leash. Oh, coach, I want to go to Vegas for a couple of days. Hey, man, go. But make sure you be back for this game. And then when he almost wasn't, what happened? Hey, Mike, need you to go get Dennis. So he had his place. You know what I'm saying? He definitely, I don't want to take away from his greatness except by saying he just had great players. But it's so different. So I don't think they would have had the exact same success. But I do think they would have still been successful. They would have still won. Pop, you give Pop Kobe and Shaq, man. Give Pop Michael Jordan and them, man. They win it, regardless. And am I gonna say they're gonna win more than 6? No, I ain't gonna say that. But am I gonna say Shaq and Kobe gonna win more than 3? I ain't gonna say that. But they win it. And you get Phil, them Tim Duncan teams with Tim and David Robinson, then Tony Parker, Manu, then Kawhi. They win it something. Am I gonna say they winning more than 5 and going to more than 8 finals appearances? I ain't gonna say that. But they winning. You're not taking the winning out of there, is my point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're gonna win.
Yeah, it's funny to me when folks just try to diminish Phil's greatness. Like, oh, Phil Jackson, he's overrated, bro. What? It's easy. Phil had the easiest coaching job in his career. All I had to do was coach Jordan, Pip, Rodman, and then guess what? He came back and he had Shaq and Kobe. But that's easy. Anybody could have coached them teams. Like, it's easy. He got the easiest 11 rings possible. And he took a break again. He came back and said, guess what? Give me Kobe, Powell, and Lil Young Bynum. Like, what? It's easy money, bro. Come on, man. Like, folks be like, Phil is overrated, bro. Phil is an overrated coach. Phil Jackson is an overrated coach. And I be blowed like, yo, we're not finna sit here and discredit this man, put in a triangle, having patience with Jordan, having patience with Pip, patience with Rodman, patience and cultivating the team around him and say, that's the easy work to do. Like, bruh, like, you can't even manage your kids talking about Phil Jackson couldn't manage these grown men. You talking about some grown men, bruh. Bruh, grown men that don't want to do what you talking about doing, bruh. Like, come on, man. Like, all this money, ego, and pride you got to deal with. Everybody think they better than the man that's in front of them. I got to manage all that stuff and then win the rings. Like, come on, man. Like, don't discredit Phil like that, bruh. Same thing for Pop. It's like, come on, bro. You had Tim Duncan. That's the easiest superstar you can manage, bro. Like, it's easy money, bro. But, you know, them 20 years there together is give and take to where it's like, well, Timmy wanted to be there. There was, I'll say this too. There was a pocket where he was almost being traded. I forgot what the stretch was, but there was a pocket where he was like, he was going to get traded. It was like mid 2000, something like that.
But did he request a trade or was the Spurs talking about trading him?
I think it was a little bit of both, where he was thinking about getting up out of there because he wanted to play something. I don't remember the exact details, but there was a time where trade talks was, you know, a possibility for him getting up out of there. But I don't want to speak too heavy on it because I don't remember the exact details. But there was a time period when he was about to get out of there. But yeah, folks was like, oh, this easy money. Papa, you got Tim Duncan for your whole career, bro. Like, look at him now, bro. He can't coach nothing now because he didn't lost the best power forward ever. And it's like, yeah, but the best power forward wanted to be there. Like, he ain't just staying under any place because it's easy. Like, now he want to win, bro. I could have easily said I want to go to LA and me and Kobe team up. I could have easily said I want to go to Minnesota and me and KG team up. I could have easily requested a trade to go play with somebody else. But now I rock with Phil, so I'm trusting him to say I'm sticking with that. So it's a blow folks like Phil Jackson, overrated, easy coach job in history. Pop, he overrated too. Now, you had Tim Duncan your whole career. What you expect? So be blowing me with that, bro. But it's just part of the talks that people have. Man, I can't get mad about it, but I'm just like, come on, bro. It's a little more nuanced than that, man. So whatever, y'all got it.
Yeah, man. You know, you can't tell everybody stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some folks they already have their opinion, and that's what it is. So you can't convince them otherwise. But no, their greatness is definitely deserved. You know, like, it's a lot of great teams that had great players, ain't never won nothing. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So they all love and respect Doc Rivers. But how many great players Doc Rivers had that ain't win? Love Doc, though. Love Doc. You know what I'm saying? Doc got them Celtics that championship, my boy KG. Love Doc. But that Celtics team had KG, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Kendrick Perkins, and Tony Allen, and Ray Allen. That's a lot of good players. One ring. And KG and Tim, now we say Tim better than KG, but like we said, if we swap their teams, we put KG on the Spurs, put Tim on the Timberwolves, we don't know who we saying better. So let's not just diminish the greatness of KG. Tony Parker, Rajon Rondo, we take Tony Parker over Rondo because of the rings, but if we swap their careers, we don't know who we saying better. Who's really more talented, Rondo or Tony Parker? Then you got who else? Manu Ginobili, Ray Allen. You know what I'm saying? Paul Pierce and Bruce Bowen. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's good players on that team. One championship. 3 appearances now. Again, we'll get him that. 3 appearances. 1 championship. Pop got 5. Ben more than 5, but he got 5 with them players. So it's just like, let's not say he had the easiest coaching job ever, when other coaches that had similar talent and was not as successful. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is, man. It's just you can't diminish what coaching does for a team, but I do think players make themselves and create their own destiny. But team wise, like KG, Timberwolves weren't gonna win no championship, man. I'm sorry. Not what you are, Stephon Marbury. It just wasn't going to happen. You were gonna be great regardless. MVP, multiple defensive player of the years. You was gonna get that regardless. I'm talking to KG right now because that's my boy. You know, we like this. But you was gonna get that regardless, KG. I'm just saying, but it's like them championships, man, in Minnesota, it just wasn't gonna happen, as you realize now. But Tim was gonna be Tim wherever. He just was he had that stability of coaching on a franchise that knew what to do, and quite frankly, a GM that knew how to draft, apparently. And the rest is history. So, yeah, man. Anything else you wanted to throw in on the subject?
Yeah, ultimately, you said all this to say it goes hand in hand, to be honest with you, man. Like, you can't have great coaching without great players. Can't be a great player without great coach. It all goes hand in hand, man. So we spent 70 minutes going back and forth. But ultimately, man, it's just like, you know, it goes hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. Like you said, there's a reason why KG didn't win in Minnesota and why Tim Duncan did. There's a reason why Phil didn't win when he didn't have the great players. He went to New York, then turned out the same. So there's a reason why all this stuff happens, man. So at the end of the day, it's a good marriage. Like, you can't have one without the other. So let's you know, whatever.
But we hope y'all enjoyed the talk either. Hey, man, that does it for another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. We appreciate y'all for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. And drop down in the comments and let us know what you think about the situation. Who do you think coaches make the player make the coach? You know, it's a little bit of both. But what do you think is the most important thing? Do you think Pop made Tim? Do you think Tim, for real, answer that question about Tim and KG, because I'm trying to see how people really feel. If Tim was on the Timberwolves and KG was on the Spurs, is KG the best power forward that ever lived? I want y'all to think about that one. Y'all take that home with y'all. But drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think, because I want that answer for real. But anyway, be sure to follow Brian on all social medias at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on all social media platforms. Be sure to follow me at NellyH34 on Twitter, at Nelson.Haskins on IG, and you can find me at my name on Facebook. And we'd like to keep the conversation going over there. So make sure y'all go follow us up over there. Be sure to follow the podcast on TikTok, going across the bottom of your screen if you're watching on YouTube right now. But if you're not, it's BeBall Jones Podcast. That's BeBall Jones Podcast on TikTok. And we like to throw a lot of clips and excerpts on there. So if you ain't catch the full episode, be sure to follow us over there so you can see what we talked about and what really went on. But then after that, make sure you go watch the full episode. So, yeah, y'all go follow us up and like what we got posted over there. But that does it for another episode, man. Once again, we appreciate y'all for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another great episode. And hopefully, you know, it might be just as good as it was today. But without further ado, man, thank y'all for listening. And we out.